Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girimit Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinkarinam Param Ananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपीश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Thank you so much, dear worshipable devotees, for taking out your most valuable time. This is session number 20. And we hope and anticipate that in the next 5 sessions this week, we'll complete this book, The Beginner's Guide to Krishna Consciousness. And we have covered many important topics in this book, primarily, about the do's and don'ts of bhakti, which are based on very sound philosophy and Guru Sadhu Shastra. So we'll cover some of the other topics in the last 25% section of this book. We are at page number around 80. So let's read. This will be more reading and a little bit faster, so we can complete in the next 5 sessions. That's our goal. So now, yes, Prabhuji, Hari Bol.
Let
Can
me
you
know.
hear?
Shall I start, Bobby?
Okay, please do. Yes.
Iskcon, ISKCON, in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, was founded in New York in 1966 by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. It rapidly expanded to become a worldwide confederation of several hundred temples and ashrams with affiliated farm communities and Gurukula schools. Iskcon is based on the timeless teaching of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam as received in disciplined succession from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya appeared in 1486 in Mayapur Dham and taught the science of Krishna Bhakti. He popularized the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The Mahamantra, the great chanting for deliverance, which is most effective in the age of Kali. The Iskcon is meant to fulfill Lord Chaitanya's mission by preaching Krishna consciousness all over the world. Iskcon is part of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. One can trace its spiritual lineage from Srila Prabhupada back through chain of spiritual masters through Lord Chaitanya, through Madhavacharya to Lord Brahma, and ultimate to Lord Krishna himself. This principle of parampara, unbroken discipline succession, is major hallmark of Iskcon authenticity. Shall I read more probably?
Let's see. Okay, let's see if anyone else wants to read.
I can read Prabhuji. All gracious Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada set up Iskcon so that all persons who join the society can get everything they need to achieve all perfection in Krishna consciousness. Managerially, Iskcon is divided into zones, about 30 at present, comprising the worldwide. Each zone is overseen by at least one senior devotee known as a governing body commissioner, GBC officer. Some zones have 2 or more co-GBCs. The highest managerial authority in Iskcon is the GBC body, composed of all GBC officers. The GBC body meets once yearly in Mayapur to review and plan the activities of the society. Decisions within the GBC body are made by voting. Within each GBC zone are several temples. Each temple is independent, both financially and to a large extent managerially. Thus, there is no single head office of Iskcon, although Mayapur is considered the spiritual world headquarters. Each temple has a temple president who is its main managing officer and temporal authority. The GBC officer regularly visits the temples in his zone to help ensure that the spiritual standards are being maintained, to see that management and development are going on nicely, and to coordinate preaching within the zone. Srila Prabhupada said that the GBC officer should be like watchdogs. This means that they always have to be alert for the well-being of the Iskcon, and especially to prevent philosophical contaminations from entering and polluting the society. Srila Prabhupada also said that leader means leader in hearing and chanting. Therefore, leaders in Iskcon should not only manage and organize but also uphold ideal standards of spiritual practice and behavior. Srila Prabhupada stressed that high spiritual standard could best be maintained in Iskcon if the leaders set an exemplary standard in hearing and chanting. Unlike when Srila Prabhupada was physically present, there is now no single leader of Iskcon. Srila Prabhupada himself said that all his disciples, those who followed, would become leaders in his physical absence. He instructed his disciples to work cooperatively to help spread Krishna consciousness, and this order remains the key to the continuing spread of the movement. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Girish Prabhu and Baldev Prabhu, for reading this section. So, as a quick background about the history of Iskcon and the current structure, which was actually set up by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Prabhupada followed it to set up this GBC structure. So I think at this point it's important to know a little bit background of Iskcon and how it functions, because we may have doubts, questions, concerns, so we should be able to understand it for ourselves, and in future someone may ask this question to you also. Right, because there's a lot of questions that someone may get. So I'll try to visualize this. So this is Iskcon, right? International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Iskcon means Prabhupada, Prabhupada means Iskcon, right? So Srila Prabhupada said, Iskcon is my body, right? So Prabhupada is the founder Acharya. And now after Prabhupada's disappearance from this earth, Prabhupada started, or even before that, the GBC structure, the Governing Body Commission, Prabhupada instituted. Now, this Governing Body Commission, you can say, is basically quite a few of Prabhupada disciples, about 30, 40 members, some sannyasis, some grihasthas, some matajis or ladies, whatever word you may want to use. They are basically responsible that Iskcon is functioning the way it is Prabhupada wanted, the way, it's like a big institution. Like there are thousands of temples, millions of devotees, or millions of followers, many thousands of initiated devotees, many cities, states, countries. So it certainly needs a structure. Like even a big company, let's say any company you name, if they have global presence, what to speak of global presence, if they have presence like offices or branches in a couple of cities, it needs some system, right? It needs some system. And therefore there are like standards like ISO standard and this standard and that standard, right? To ensure that some systems are followed. So basically GBC you can say is like, as mentioned here, Prabhupada is like watchdog to ensure, because tomorrow someone will say, well, at my Iskcon in this city, we follow this system. Who are you to make your own system, right? It is a parampara system. It is not my system or his system or her system. It's not, some details may vary. Like details may vary. The principles will stay same. That the Mangal Arati is there, Mangal Arati is there. This is the Mangal Arati. This book defines. Okay, someone may do it 4:30, someone may do it 5. That's a different minor detail based on some factors. But it's not that Mangal Arati is done at, night time or, things like that. Okay, in this temple, bhoga with onion is allowed, and this temple, so that's not a detail, right? That's a principle, right? So therefore, some structure is required, some system is required, and that system, that structure is basically GBC. Now, GBC um, has like every zone, you can say, like there are GBCs, there are mature senior Vaishnavas who are basically, now one person cannot oversee every region, right? So there's like GBC. Like even in North America, there are multiple GBCs. North America is so big, so many big states are there. In India, there are multiple GBCs. In some cities, some major cities like Pune, Bombay, they have multiple, even in that city itself, there are multiple GBCs. Because it's a much bigger state or city, right? Now, GBC, like I'll share a little bit more about Tampa region since I'm more familiar with that. So then you have what you call like zonal secretary. Or regional secretary, zonal secretary, who are basically the next layer, right? So I'll just give an example. Don't quote me on that because I don't know the very fine details. So let's say Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj, as well as Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj is a GBC for southeast US. Again, and then he has multiple zonal secretaries, like Ramya Prabhu is one of them who oversees Tampa, Tallahassee, DeLand, Orlando, and some other areas, right? Because the responsibility, basically like sharing the responsibility, right? Um, and then after that is the local temple, who are basically the temple team, the temple president, the vice president, commander, zonal, you can say directors, etc., who are basically the local team who is managing and facilitating the operations of that temple. So that's the very common structure. But GBC is the ultimate authority. They meet every year around the Gaur Purnima time in Mayapur to make important decisions. And it's not one person, it's a team. Cooperation is very integral part of every temple, every place. Cooperation is required. There may be difference of opinions, but how we cooperate to serve Prabhupada, that's very cardinal principle of Iskcon. Anyone has any questions about this structure?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, question.
Yes.
So this all zonal secretaries, they every year they meet in Mayapur.
No, GBC meets. This is
GBC.
GBC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can like branch in like org chart.
Okay.
So it's like one GBCM example I'm giving.
Okay.
Now zonal secretary will have multiple. Like I'll give an example of my company, right? So there is the CEO or COO, Chief Operations Officer. Now he has different RVPs. They're called regional vice president. Like one is the vice president for like Southeast, very similar to this. So regional vice president, RVP1, RVP2, like there are 7 RVPs, right? Now each RVP has RMs called regional manager, right? Why is my mouse not working today? Right, so each RVP has about 7 to 10 based on the region, RMs, regional managers. So let's say about 10. Now each regional manager has different communities, which they are managing, right? Like community 1, community 2. So they call it a CM, community manager. And everyone can do only limited, everyone cannot, like the CEO cannot manage do the operations for every, like there are like 350 communities. So 7 times 10 times, let's say, even if they have 8, CM 8 average. So you have 70 times 8, like 560. There'll be 560 branches, right? This is a basic math. Now, can the CEO manage all the 560 communities? Absolutely not. So similarly, the structure is there, right? There's no one person now. The CEO is one person, but there's a body now, right? And the regional, so in this there are 3 layers, but in this there are like 2 layers. So you can say the CEO or the president, and they have the regional heads to. I'm just giving an example or kind of a mundane example to explain a spiritual topic. Hope it helps. Every company has this structure.
Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Sorry. Yes, Prabhuji. For example, in Mauritius, our zonal secretary is Bhakti Chaitanya Swami for Africa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Very
and
nice.
they are Prabhuji for the US. And it was Vishaka Devi Dasi one time for US, no? Covering certain areas for US.
No, US is quite big, Mataji, and
Yeah, I know it has got several areas covering
several
one. So
areas. Yeah, I
yeah.
think I shared for Tampa, which I'm more aware of.
Prabhuji for Tampa.
Tampa, the zonal secretary is His Grace Ramya Prabhu. And then he has multiple areas or cities, you can say. And then His Holiness Bir Krishna Gosai Maharaj. This transition happened recently. Earlier it was His Grace Anuttama Prabhu. Yes. So there is a very important essay in this book called, in this essay, which is part of the disciple course also, called Harmonizing, Lines of Authority. I'll just erase this for now because. So now, even the temple president cannot do everything by himself or herself. Now they may have, sub functions, teams, like someone is helping with, leading fundraising, someone is leading book distribution, someone is leading, congregational development, someone is leading kids programs. So it's required. Structure is required, right? And then comes well-wishers, congregational members, initiated devotees, donors, building all that relationship. So that basically, comprises this one temple. Now, one devotee or every devotee, there are two lines of authority as per the essay, harmonizing lines of authority. If someone is initiated and they consider, oh, I'm active member of Iskcon, or I want to be active member of Iskcon, they have one responsibility or authority towards this chain, and their initiating guru, who is also under this umbrella, right? Who's also under this. Now GBC has multiple teams. Let's say I call like sannyas ministry or guru ministry, right? So all the gurus in Iskcon there are multiple, like about 100, initiating gurus. So the initiating guru is also one of them, the 100 members, right? Let's say Guru 1, for example. Now this devotee, now his guru or her guru could be in Europe, right? For example, they are not GBC in Tampa, they are not GBC or zonal secretary in Tampa or Florida or even US. They serve actively in Europe. Could happen, or some other place. Now, what is a potential thing to be aware of? That they should certainly be loyal to their guru, and the guru is loyal to GBC, and they should also be loyal to this chain, the temple president. It should not say, oh, my guru is saying just do what I'm telling you. Forget about the temple president, forget about the local team, just do what I'm. The guru will never say that. The guru will always say, you, they are guiding you, they are your local team. And the temple president will also respect or should respect that there are two lines of authority. And ideally, they work very nicely in hand. And therefore, there is a nice essay called Harmonizing the Two Lines of Authority. So one has to harmonize that. Because ultimately the goal is what? To serve Iskcon, to serve Prabhupada, to serve the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Right? In every town and village, this mission will spread, and we have to do our best and harmonize, cooperate to spread this mission all over the globe. Every temple is financially independent. Prabhupada did encourage, like for larger projects, for example, like TOVP or Mayapur Vrindavan Trust. Prabhupada made a special Mayapur Vrindavan Trust. And if the GBC says, well, there is a kind of, some floods have happened or some natural disasters have come, and if some other temples can support, they have their means and desire, then it is encouraged and a good idea. If the local team has resources, right? But the principle is very clear. First, take care of your own child. If your child is sick and your neighbor's child is sick, whom will you take first to the doctor? Right? Anyone?
Always first, Prabhuji.
Your own child. That's exactly. Charity begins at home. So every Iskcon devotee, if they really consider themselves Iskcon devotee, their first loyalty should be towards the local, because the local team is helping them. Local team is nurturing them, grooming them, answering their question, developing. So we should dovetail or engage the bulk of our energy, the majority of our energy. And when I say energy, it's physical, intellectual, mental, financial, whatever energies Krishna has blessed us with at the local center. If if one wishes to help other cities, states, countries, they are more than welcome to, but not at the cost of the local, right? Help your child and help others also if you can, but not at the cost of your own child, right? So that's the principle, right? And everyone may apply it differently. But the principle is same. There should not be, oh, I'm serving Iskcon, Delhi and Bombay and Pune and this and that and this, and therefore I have no time for Iskcon temple or whatever local center. That's an unhealthy mood, right? That's an unhealthy mood actually. So we should be very mindful. If I want to help others, that's fine. But as I said, majority of my energy should be at the local place. And if my place changes, I can still have a soft heart. Let's say tomorrow I move to a different city or a city or country or state. I'll still have a very soft corner for Tampa and do my part. But again, I will be meeting new temple, new devotees, new and whatever. So it's quite a little bit natural that the energy will focus, that will transition. So that's very important. And same applies financially also. If Iskcon Tampa needs funds, Iskcon Tampa should generate their own funds, right? If Orlando needs funds, they generate their own funds, right? Yes, devotees may help, but it's every temple is like a business unit in themselves. So they have their own revenue, they have their own expenses, they have their own budget, they have their own strengths and weaknesses. But the corporate, you can say, the corporate or the GBC environment, Iskcon is very mature. Devotees share, the community is very wide. The community, like there is like a lot of networking, lot of like marriage bureau. If someone like wants to marry a devotee, their website's available. Someone wants help, this community is available, right? If someone wants to kind of uh, stay in a guest house in Vrindavan, right? Of course, that help is available if as a community. But every temple is kind of on their own. So I think these things are important for all of us to know because these questions may come. A lot of people, in the early days, they used to think, oh, Iskcon is sending money from India to US. Or some people in US think, oh, Iskcon is sending money from US to India, right? So all these things, we should be very, very clear. And if we have doubt, we should ask our authorities in a humble, genuine way. Any questions, thoughts on this topic? It's a very big topic, but just touching a little bit. Any thoughts or questions?
Krishna Prabhuji, one small, just to, how much of a help would the GBC or the secretary, the next level, would help the local temple? I think it depends on what help is needed. For example, book distribution, let's say. Book distribution needs books, and we have to purchase books and so forth, right? Material is needed. So would there be any help from the secretary level to the local temple, or is it completely the local temple's responsibility in purchasing the books, to get the books and distribute and so forth?
You mean to the financial help to procure books?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a very good question and a very practical question, and I'll share, recent practical examples from this. Like the Gita Jayanti event is there, right? The Gita Jayanti event is there, and Iskcon of Silicon Valley is known for Gita distribution, known for book distribution. His Grace Vishishika Prabhu is a pioneer in that. They generated, and all these books come from BBT. All Prabhupada's books come from BBT, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. So these Iskcon and Bhaktivedanta Book Trust are separate entities, and that's what we say. Iskcon founder Acharya, BBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki jai, right? They're separate entities for Prabhupada, very thoughtfully did this and for good. And this is how, but again, ultimately it's all under GBC umbrella, right? So let's say there is a temple who are a little bit struggling with funds, but they have good demand. Like there are people who want books, but the temple is a little bit financially struggling. So temple like ISV, they raised a lot of donations for Gita Jayanti. And they open up. Now, of course, there are teams like we have a North America Sankirtan leader team, right? Like you can say like RVP group, like zonal secretaries have their group. So communication for easy, like local teams have their communication. So the temple presidents so nearby have a communication channel. I'm sure GBC, I'm not in that group, but they must have some communication channel, right? So like the RVPs in one group, RMs in one group, like to exchange ideas. Oh, I have I need help with a cook. Do you have an extra cook? So sort of like that, right? So Iskcon Silicon Valley basically sent a lot of books to some areas who needed help, right? So there is good communication and help is available. Now we also got some books. Of course, we are giving free books, right, during the time of Gita Jayanti, for the donations which are raised. So help is available. If tomorrow, someone asks, hey, I want to distribute 5 cases of softbound book to all my inner school, but I don't have the funds. So we can happily send that, right? In Ayodhya, they distributed 5 lakh in the time of this Lord Ram's ceremony, the coronation ceremony or the deity installation. 5 lakh books were distributed, Gita is for free. That's like 500,000 for our Western audience. So in short, there is good communication and help is available to an extent, right? God helps those who help themselves. So the devotees have themselves to be very eager also. Oh, it's not like, oh, I need a temple, right? Help me, right? So it's like, show your like help is like, okay, help me. I'll sit and just build a temple for me. No, that's not something one should expect or ask for. Okay, I need guidance in this matter. We are procuring this property or we are having a little bit legal issue. Has any other temple faced that? Or do we have some, of course, that is something, we can easily get help for. So, because there are a lot of mature devotees who have seen ups and downs in Iskcon, who have seen ins and outs in Iskcon. Like, let's say, oh, we would like to start kids program. Can some devotees from bigger temple come to train some of our volunteers? Absolutely, yes. It's available. Oh, we want to start Bhakti Rickshaw program. Oh, we are not so experienced with how to raise funds or monthly tithing. Can some mature devotee who has experience with that come and help us? Absolutely, yes. Or like Vishka Prabhu came, he did the Sankirtan orientation seminar. That's also help, right? To train devotees how to do book distribution, to train devotees how to do kids program, to train like they are willing to come, they are always eager to come, right? There are seminars, so all those help, especially training, guidance is always available, right? And now in the Zoom environment, like I'm talking recently to one devotee in Delhi, so much help, right? So much help he's providing, right? Like an elder brother. And one leads to the other, right? One thing leads to the other, one connection leads to the other. So all those help, training, resources, how should I start kids program? A book is made. Many devotees have made that book. Follow this, or they're willing to come but asking, oh, you come and do kids program in Tampa, that's not good, right? That's something one should not ask, right? Like, let's say same with your job, like, right? Oh, you come and do my job, right? No, I'm stuck here. I need help to maybe, can you see where I'm going wrong, right? Or maybe I have not experienced a little bit this. I know this part, but this part I need your help for 30 minutes. Can we have a conversation? Absolutely, yes. Does that help?
Yes, Prabhuji, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you for the thoughtful question.
I asked one aspect, but you covered much different aspects also. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Any other
Hare Krishna,
questions?
Prabhuji.
Yes,
Hare
ma'am.
Krishna, Prabhuji. So for myself, I'm doing some research on women in Iskcon. So I read in 1990, it was Mataji Malati, who was the governing body of the USA, covering Gainesville, Fort Wales, Miami, Florida, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia, and Western Pennsylvania. So it helps a bit like that when we go to the. I'm preparing on women in Iskcon. So this is helping me how the governing body works and all, because you have to read a lot. I got a small speech to give on radio sometime. That's why I'm preparing. So I'm getting more knowledge concerning the governing body, etc. And when our governing body for Africa came in Mauritius, we are doing a small center for our Guru Maharaj. So we were having issues. You know what we did? Because he was in Mauritius, we just approached him, and he came for the Bhumi Puja. So the program is done because it was in our favor as if when Chaitanya Bhakti Swami was in our country. So we just invited him to do our Bhumi Puja. So the problem was solved.
Very well.
It helps. So it helps. Governing body helps. And the representative from in Mauritius, so they gave classes, they gave ideas and all. Very nice. Very nicely planned. What Prabhupada did, I mean. Yes. The governing body. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very nice. Thank you. I can certainly vouch for that Iskcon's networking is very good. I have traveled many countries, continents, and seen multiple temples, sometimes stayed for short-term, long-term. Iskcon networking, the mood to help, because ultimately Vaishnavas, we should do our best for others. So yeah, more than relatives, I've seen devotees are there to help each other. Even, we don't know someone you're meeting first time, but networking is very good, and devotees go, over and above to help each other because of the good, foundation, the Prabhupada's foundation, that Prabhupada's core center principle. So very good. Okay, I think we can move on to the next topic if that's okay. Anyone would like to read this topic, preaching?
We would like to, Prabhuji, if anybody.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam devotees. Preaching. In Bhagavad Gita 18.69, Lord Krishna states that no one in this world is more dear to him than one who preaches his message. And Srila Prabhupada writes, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.6.24 purport. Preaching is the easiest way to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya instructed, whomever you meet, tell about Krishna. In this way, on my order, become a guru and deliver this land. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 7.128. So on Lord Chaitanya's order, devotees should not be content simply to perform devotional activities for their own upliftment, but must try to give Krishna consciousness to others. Everybody can preach. Even if a devotee is not very learned in Vaishnava philosophy, he can still request everyone he meets to chant Hare Krishna. However, it is essential that those who are active in preaching work thoroughly and regularly study Srila Prabhupada's books. The best way to preach is to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. We may be able to speak to someone for a few minutes, but if they take a book, they can study it for several hours. Keep it at home or give it to someone else. Prabhupada's books give a clear, straightforward presentation of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness directly from the topmost empowered devotee. And one book may be read by many people. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada certified that book distribution is the best preaching. Did I continue? There is no comparison, there is no literature throughout the whole universe like Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no comparison, there is no competition. Every word is for the good of the human society. Every word, each and every word. Therefore, we are stressing so much on the book distribution. Somehow or the other, if the book goes in one's hand, he will be benefited. At least he'll see they have taken so much price. Let me see what is there. They have taken so much price. Let me see what is there. If he reads one sloka, his life will be successful. If he reads one sloka, one word, it is such a nice thing. Therefore, we are stressing so much. Please distribute books. Distribute books. Srila Prabhupada. To get more information and inspiration about preaching, read Preaching is the Essence by Srila Prabhupada, available from the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Sushilpa Mataji. So preaching is emphasized here. One should not be, as mentioned, that, okay, I worry about my rounds, my family, my arati, my kirtan, and that's it. Well, doing that is very nice. But if everyone thinks just about themselves, then the movement will not spread, right? If Prabhupada would have just thought about himself, he was happy in Vrindavan. What could be a better place to be in the world than Sri Radha Damodar Mandir? Prabhupada writes that. It's like the spiritual epicenter of the world. Good association, good vibrations, prasadam, environment, weather, everything, people around, everything was very favorable for him there. He left that comfort. He left all that and look at Prabhupada's faith and the daring nature, like boldness. Like this is like we cannot even imagine what Prabhupada did at the age of 70, traveling in a cargo ship in a country where he knew no one, in with pockets empty, with no people around, with the language different, with the cultural difference, with the weather difference. Everything was, the odds of his success were almost zero. But one thing he had, the faith in the words of his Guru and Krishna. Faith in the divine can make one surpass unimaginable obstacles. So we cannot imitate what Prabhupada did, but at least we can emulate the spirit. Take challenge, take risk. Lord will help. And we are seeing that actually. We see that all the time. Those who take risks for Prabhupada's, and we're not, risk doesn't mean that go in a bar or go into like some crazy people and say, hey, chant Hare Krishna. No, we're not talking about that kind of risk. Our risk is, okay, let's go a little bit out of our comfort zone and go to the stretch zone and see how much growth is there. And His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj say that when we preach or when we try to preach, it's not for others actually, it's for our own good. Any preacher, anyone who is trying to preach Krishna consciousness will say it for certain that their preaching efforts help them to be a better devotee if done in the right mood. Every preacher will attest to that if done in the right mood. That I am no one to, I am sharing for my own good. I am sharing so that I can stay Krishna conscious. Because if we try to help and we become dear to Krishna, and ultimately, who are we to make anyone devotee anyways? It's all Krishna has already laid it out. Lord Chaitanya has already declared boldly that Prithvichachi Nagar Adi Gram Sarvatra Prachar Hoy Moranam. It will happen. Whether we want to be part of it or not, that's our choice. गंगा तो बह रही है, हमें हाथ धोना है कि नहीं, ये हमारी choice. गंगा नहीं रुकेगी, right? The mercy, the mercy, the mood, the mission of Lord Chaitanya will flow. It's not dependent on me or you or, right? Or anyone who thinks that, oh, this whole temple or this community is dependent on me or this, it's nothing but one's false ego or illusion. It will flow. Whether we want to be part of it or not, that's our choice. And Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna has given us that choice for our own good. So we must encourage each other. We must appreciate each other. We must do our best to help, to share. And the emphasis, book distribution. Because we may meet a person, how many minutes we will talk to him or her? 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And that too, a person full of impurities, what that 10, 20, 30 minutes will do anyways? Nothing. Because I am full of impurities myself. Better, what is mentioned? Give them a book, which is by a pure devotee. Bhaktivedanta book trust, Srila Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, right? When that goes, and they read even one shloka, their bhakti is the success. Because in this path, there is only forward gear. There's no reverse gear. That one shloka will lead to other. And gradually, there are many people, many devotees who's got books. They were living in remote environments. Then they got in touch with devotees. They started coming to program. They were chanting Hare Krishna just by reading books, just by getting in contact with the books. So book distribution is very important. The best way to preach, as mentioned here, is to distribute Prabhupada's books. Very, very important. To distribute Prabhupada's books, very important. And everyone can preach. Oh, I don't know all the Sanskrit shlokas. I don't know how to give class. That's fine. We don't need to be big scholars, as mentioned here. Right? Whatever we know. We don't proclaim ourselves as the pure devotee. Neither am I. Neither am I learned in the verses, but whatever little we know from Guru Parampara, we must share. That's a mood. And at the same time, thoroughly and sincerely try to study regularly. And that's what we do every day, try to thoroughly and regularly study Prabhupada's books. So very important. Preaching for our own good, book distribution, prasad distribution, and inviting, caring for devotees, inviting for programs, see their interest. How can we best connect them to Krishna? Book distribution is very, very effective. Prasad distribution, becoming a genuine well-wisher. If someone needs help in a time of distress, someone's lost, like loss of a dear one or arrival of a new one. Those are the times where people are looking for more support. And at the time of distress, if we help someone, that friendship also lasts quite long. And then building that friendship to connect them to their eternal friend, Krishna. That's also very nice. That's also part of preaching. I was asking His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami Maharaj as I got his association while driving, and another, Maharaj really emphasized on this, build connections. Build connections. I asked Maharaj, what are those few important things for a devotee? Build connection, build good connections. Rules and regulations are important, but don't be so caught up in the rule that you forget to build the connection. Especially, he was very happy with the Western outreach devotees are trying to do. That's kind of missing in many parts of US. But there's so much potential. So many devotees came. They were all new. We didn't know most of them. Like 50% of the people we don't know. There is so much potential, so much. So building the connection, helping everyone, everyone is looking for love and to be loved, right? But finding it in wrong places, things, people who cheat. But Krishna never cheats because everyone is looking for Krishna. So preaching is very important. And staying close to Guru Sadhu Shastra. Otherwise, deviations will happen, concoctions will happen, right? So staying pure to the parampara is very important. Understanding what's a principle and what's a detail, right? Any thoughts, comments there? Any questions on these topics? Any reflections anyone has?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I share one instance more?
Yes.
Prabhuji Vaisheshika Maharaj, he says that when we attended a seminar in UK, when he was there, he said that when we do our preaching, our book distribution, we open the book, then we explain, then people will be more attracted. So what I did once, when there was a Gita International Conference in Mauritius, a big area over there, we were distributing books. So there were many groups of people coming. So while I was there for book distribution at the bookstore, so I opened the book because how to get the people, I said, I just remember that portion that we have to open the book and explain. So I was explaining that, you see, Bhagavad Gita is difficult. You will see the first chapter very difficult. Second chapter you won't understand, but it is very important that you read the first, second, third. Now, when you reach the 8th and 9th chapter, you won't stop reading. You will like Bhagavad Gita. And a group of people from another corner was just listening to me, and they all came to buy Prabhuji. They became all curious to know what is there in chapter 9. I explained them. First, second is very difficult. Then you like the book. But 9, read chapter 9. You'll see you'll never leave Bhagavad Gita. And really many people just ran because they were listening from far. They just came and buy Prabhuji. That was a trick that I by myself, but through the seminar, I learned. I like book distribution.
That is so amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
as if you have to guide people. First is difficult, second is difficult, and then you will find it interesting and very, so much intelligence you will get from reading that Bhagavad Gita. And really, I like chapter 9, 8, 9.
Very well.
Yeah, confidential knowledge of chapter 9. I like it so much.
So wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji, for sharing that. Any other thoughts or questions or comments anyone has? Okay, we have it's almost 9 p.m. If there are no comments or thoughts, we can wrap up. If there is any last comment, we can take it.
Krishna Prabhuji, I can share one realization.
Sure, Mataji, please.
I like the statement here that Prabhupada mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam purport. Preaching is the easiest way to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I was just kind of contemplating on it. To remember if like in childhood or now also, right, if we read something, to remember we repeatedly have to read it to understand, and to remember we repeatedly have to read it and understand and so forth, right? So I felt like the same way Prabhupada is also saying, like if I read my own, then I might, but I may not be realizing. But when I preach, when I go out and talk to somebody and preach, there comes my own realizations, my own. I could literally experience when I go out, when Shubham Gopal Prabhu arranges for book distribution and so forth. When I talk to them, then I try to all the experiences of reading and then all that we discuss here, everything open up and they all come out in front of the folks I'm talking to. Then when once after I give all the details about the book, then I think, what did I just say? I'm not the person who usually describe about it. Am I that self-realized? To a level of an extent, but after talking to them, many a times I felt like, okay, this is something new to me. This is something new that Krishna is giving an opportunity to talk to others. So that's a kind of a beautiful experience, Prabhuji. I feel like the statement here in Prabhupada's purport really makes sense. We can experience it really when we.
Wow, that is very profound. That is certainly very profound. You made a very nice point, Mataji, because this question also comes. Well, I am a struggling sadhaka myself. If I become a pure devotee, then I'll start. When I have zero anarthas, 100% bhakti, 100% spiritual desires, then I'll start preaching. Isgaz Prabhu was asked this question. I said, that means you will never preach. He replied, because that is like, Paramhamsa stage. So preaching is param aradhana tadhi. Param aradhana. Tapyante lokatapena sadhava prayashojana. Param aradhana tadhi. Param aradhana. tapyanti lokatapena, those who take the sacrifice to help alleviate or remove others' sacrifices. Lord Shiva says it is the Param Aradhana, the topmost worship of the Lord. So when we take responsibility, no one wants to take responsibility, especially for others. Who wants? I have so many things in my own life, right? But when we do that voluntarily, it is the biggest sacrifice in the eyes of Lord. Because you're taking, what does initiation mean? To take some of the pain, some of the burden from the shoulders of the Guru. Like when the child matures, what is expected? That now the child will not just be, now the parents can transfer some, or the child can take load or share some of the load from parents in an ideal world. I'm not talking about Kali Yuga, 21st century, but we're talking about Vedic Guru Parampara system, right? And we do want to follow. So understanding, oh, now my Guru is getting old. Now Prabhupada's movement needs more resources, more hands, right? I must do my part. We see Visual Bhakti Maharaj or any Maharaj, you see how they travel, how their schedule is. Every day there are like 3 programs, different homes, different people. It's so hard, even for like a 30-year-old. And they're in their 70s and still going on. So much to learn, so much to by their example. We cannot do that. We cannot imitate, nor is it expected or asked, but at least we take some responsibility. Some responsibility we should take, and for our own good. That will really help. That will really, really help. As you rightly mentioned, preaching is like the overflow. And when we meet people, Krishna will give us so much inspiration, so much guidance, so much words, and so much, everything will come. Thank you. So thank you everyone for your kind patience. And I hope it was of some value to all of us. And please think how you would like to serve. You're all serving already, but take some based on your time, place, situations. We should. All we need is a desire. Training is available, right? All we need is a desire. If we have desire, Krishna will help. Devotees will help. Thank you. Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Samved Gaur Bhaktavind ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Dandavat
Prabhu.
pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Very good.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.